Baby, I'm the gamble of your life. Why you always gotta think twice? We could go at it all night. Till the morning till you can't even go no more.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a Packers.com exclusive, an interview with President and CEO Mark Murphy. Mark, welcome, and how are you doing during these challenging times?
Well, I'm doing well. Thank you, Larry. All things considered, it is certainly unprecedented. You and I are about the same age, Larry, and I haven't seen much in my lifetime like this. The best thing we can do is all the different things that people talk about. Stay at home, socially distance, wash your hands on a regular basis. Our players, alumni have really stepped up in terms of messages on social media. We used our video boards and we have the new marquee boards, putting up messaging there to make sure that people understand. We need to do everything we can together to slow the spread and to flatten the curve.
The Green Bay Packers are still in business. So in that regard, how is the whole working at home thing going, the remote office? How is that going as an organization, as the president and CEO of a multi-million-dollar operation?
It's an adjustment, Larry. You get so used to your routine and certain things you do at work. But even though we're at home and we've got stay-at-home orders, for the NFL, our business operations and our football operations are continuing. Big part of that, free agency.
How about the Packers end of that equation, the acquisition of Rick Wagner, Christian Kirksey, Devin Funchess? How'd you feel about that, Mark?
It's obviously a little different than last year, but I think Brian did a nice job. He and I were in touch throughout the process, and a lot of this, Larry, is not only trying to fill some holes, and we knew we would likely or probably lose some people, but also we want to position ourselves where some of the key players who are entering into the last years of their contracts wanted to be able to extend them. So, it's a challenging process with the salary cap and the negotiations, but Brian and Russ Ball really work well together, and I think we manage the cap as well as any people.
Mark, when it comes to the draft, it's going to be different, however it shakes out. But is it all that different than our day when there was no publicity, you didn't know what was going on? Whatever happens, there's going to be a lot more bells and whistles to this one than there were for the drafts in our day, right?
It is. It's going to be like a throwback. What's going to be really unique, and we don't know at this point whether or not we'll be able to go into our facilities or have to conduct a draft from each person's home, but we'll be ready. Brian and his staff have been really putting a lot of time in and working the phones and Zoom and meeting with prospects, but it is going to be very different.
The phrase virtual off-season is a new one on me, Mark. What kind of alternatives are being discussed to replace the traditional OTAs, mini camps, the off-season program as a whole? What kind of things could make up a virtual off-season?
That's a great question, and it's something that we've talked a lot about at the league level. Times like this, Larry, you've got to be very flexible. Obviously, you want to have some semblance of an off-season. So what a virtual program might look like would be, starting off strength coaches, putting up on Zoom and talking and making presentations to players about what the workout should look like, and then having one-on-one meetings with players like you and I are talking now, position coaches sitting down as we are now, maybe going through video, talking about some of the plays or defenses, different things that they may want to do, but it's certainly going to be very different. And then, you don't want to get ahead of yourselves, but when will training camp start? Will it start on time? What would be the minimum amount of time you would want to have as an off-season program? All different kinds of issues, and the challenge for all of us. Now it's just a very different time, and something that I think the better teams and better organizations are going to adapt and be flexible.
Mark, just yesterday I saw where the first grants from the $1.5 million Packer Community Relief Fund went out. And that's just part of the story. Thousands of meals have been donated and so forth. Why did you feel it was important for the Green Bay Packers to take a leadership role in the fight against COVID-19?
Well, Larry, it's no different than, what we say all the time. We're a community-owned team. So for us, it's at our core. And I think particularly when we're in a situation like this with the pandemic that we're facing, for us to be able to step up was really important. But I'm glad you mentioned the meals. Adam Corzon, our director of nutrition, he came up with this concept on his own, came to me, and we talked about it. Over 1,400 meals a week, Larry. Going out to, the people that are on the front line, the healthcare workers. You forget about, for a lot of people, their meals during the week are from school. For those kids, that goes away. So what Adam came up with is provide meals to those that are providing the meals for the kids.
Going back to the current situation we're in, Mark, I mean, you've got a big job. You've got a very public job, but these are challenging, uncharted times for everybody, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely. It's, but the thing, it's a great equalizer, Larry. We're all in this together. This too will pass. It may take time, but just kind of keep the faith and take a long-term view. But it's a challenging time, and I think it really it's important for all of us to work together. And best thing we can do is follow the guidelines.
Thank you, Mark. I hope to see you again in person in the not too distant future.
All right, that sounds good. Thanks, Larry.
And thank you for watching. Until next time, take care and stay safe.
Baby, I'm the gamble of your life. Why you always gotta think twice? We could go at it all night till the morning till you can't even go no more. You like it, don't even deny